In 1888, we rejected the righteousness by faith message presented by Jones and Wagoner.
Friends, the Lord has shown me new light regarding
Instead,
righteousness
we
by
chose
faith.
nakedness, not to be clothed with the robes of Christ's righteousness. Ellen White said the rejection of this message at the conference caused a delay of the latter rain.
By exciting that opposition, Satan succeeded in shutting away from our people, in a great measure, the special power of the Holy Spirit that God longed to impart to them.
Not only were they supposed to receive the latter rain, but Ellen White also said that the people at this 1888 conference were the last generation on earth.
I was shown the company present at the conference, said the angel, gravely. Some food for worms, some subjects of the 7 last plagues, some will be alive and remain upon the earth to be translated at the coming of Jesus.
But this statement no longer applied as they rejected the righteousness by faith message, and the church entered into the Laodicean state.
The tidings that Christ is our righteousness has brought relief to many, many souls, and God says to his people,
"Go forward." The message to the Laodicean church is applicable to our condition.
By stating that the church was in the Laodicean state, she was stating that the church had still not accepted the righteousness by faith message. The message to the Laodiceans includes,
"Because thou sayest, I am rich, and increased with goods, and have need of nothing, and knowest not that thou art wretched, and miserable, and poor, and blind, and naked."
She says this nakedness is the fact we are not wearing the robe of Christ's righteousness. Ellen White stated,
"Awake, and see that at this time you must put on the beautiful robe of Christ's righteousness. Buy of me," he says, "gold tried in the fire that thou mayest be rich, and white raiment that thou mayest be clothed." What was the matter with Adam and Eve? They saw that they were naked. The covering of God was not enveloping them. God says, "Buy of me."
Buy of me white raiment.
Well, what?
That thou
Buy
mayest
of me
be
my
clothed.
righteousness. Buy of me gold tried in the fire, and white raiment that thou mayest be clothed. Are you clothed with it? Or are you transgressing the commandments of God by your traditions and by the maxims of men?
So the message to the Laodiceans tells us that the church is blind, so we will believe and say we have accepted the righteousness by faith. Message, but in reality most of us are not covered with Christ's robe of righteousness. The message exists in the church, but in many cases it is not understood or accepted or applied in our daily lives.
the fig tree is used as a symbol in the Bible. We are referred to as the fruits of the fig tree. In the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve tried to cover their nakedness, the loss of the robes of Christ's righteousness, with fig leaves. Even though we are figs, our covering cannot be our own. It must be the righteousness of Christ that covers us. Only this sinless, perfect covering makes us acceptable to God. Note in Joel 1:7 that he says,
He hath laid my vine waste, and barked my fig tree. He hath made it clean bare, and cast it away. The branches therefore made white.
The bark of the fig tree was made bare. It was a naked fig tree. He tells us to sanctify a fast. The covering of the fig tree we must buy from God. In the next chapter of Joel, we see that this results in the fall of the latter rain. Maybe it's time we work to end the delay.
We as a church are naked. It is time to stop the traditions and maxims of men. We go out and tell others to join our church when we ourselves are naked. Let's call an assembly and collectively buy the covering we need. Let's bring in the latter rain, the power to bring others into the church.